The All Blacks dispatched Ireland at the Rugby World Cup quarterfinals on the weekend and are already preparing for an even bigger semi-final against England on Saturday. With only one day off to recover, the team have today hit the gym and gone through a raft of meetings as they plot for a place in a third straight World Cup title decider. Lock Brodie Retallick and flanker Sam Cane have just spoken to the media in Tokyo, and Cane says he's feeling fresh ahead of the clash as he made his case for another starting jersey.
Everyone wants to be playing. I was stoked to start first and foremost, and happy with the first 40 minutes I put out. Big games, a tournament like this, you want to play as much as you can, but you realise it's a team sport, and the coaches are making decisions based on what is best for our team to get the job done. Positive for me is I'm feeling a little bit fresher than maybe some of the boys who played a bit longer, so I'm in a good space.
Sam Cane. And the talk about rivalry between the All Blacks and England has also started, and Brodie Retallick says he loves taking on the English, who dominated the Wallabies in their quarter-final. But he says he's taking his inspiration from the Japanese players who bowed out in a spirited match between the host nation and South Africa last night in their first ever quarter-final.
We know they're always physical. They've got a big forward pack, well with good skill sets. And likewise their backs, they play a pretty expensive game. I've only seen a little bit of what they did against Australia, but they've got great skill sets and attack with a lot of variations, so that's where we're going to have to be on our game.
Brodie Retallick there, and Clay Wilson joins us from Tokyo. Clay, what else were Sam Cane and Brodie Retallick saying about the week that lies ahead?
Kia ora, Lisa. Yeah, both obviously very experienced players, Brodie Retallick and Sam Cane. So they were pretty relaxed today as they're about 5 or 6 days out from this semi-final. They've both, of course, also been here before. They were both part of that winning team in 2015, so they know what it's like to be building up to a World Cup semi-final. The other thing that was interesting they were talking about was their experiences against England. Now, Brodie Retallick's played England a number of times. He spoke about the brutality, the physical nature, as he touched on in that grab there. Sam Cane, though, has never played England. 66 test matches, and of course he's had his injury troubles, and that's meant throughout his career he hasn't had a chance to play England. So he doesn't really know what it's like, but he's obviously looking forward to it in a big game with the semi-final.
Some people are saying, some commentators are saying that the All Blacks England game is essentially the final. Is that a little bit arrogant, or is that the feeling there?
No, that's definitely the feeling here as well. Of course, we saw how brilliant the All Blacks were in their quarter-final against Ireland at their skillful and physical best, and really we haven't seen a performance that complete from the All Blacks for a long time. And then, of course, England dominating Australia defensively, really outstanding, and also just clinical when they got their opportunities, they took them. The other semi-final is going to be Wales against South Africa, and we saw both those semi-finals yesterday. Wales had to come from behind against France with 14 men, a very scratchy win for Wales, and then South Africa, of course, struggling against Japan in the first half, a few nerves at half time, but then eventually managed to come into the second half. The kicking game took over, so they were clinical but not very inspiring. So it does look like to a lot of our pundits that the winner of this New Zealand-England semi-final could likely be the winner of the World Cup.
So you've got Steve Hansen and his English counterpart, Eddie Jones. They're both talking up the chances of the other's team and also the other coach. So what do we make of that? Is that just a bit of pre-game psychology, trying to make the other ones think that they are, that they're the favoured team?
Yeah, this has been one of the interesting things that people have noted here to come out of the last couple of days. Both Steve Hansen and Eddie Jones lavishing praise on each other and each other's teams. We heard Steve Hansen say Eddie Jones is a fantastic coach and the England team has a harder edge about it with Jones in charge. And then we heard Eddie Jones go as far as to say the All Blacks are the greatest team there's ever been in sport. So obviously high praise. Brodie Retallick wasn't buying into that Eddie Jones comment too much when he was asked about it today, but both these coaches have been known for a little bit of gamesmanship, so there does seem to be a friendship and a respect there, but also I guess a potential that there is a little bit of gamesmanship trying to get in the heads of the other coaches, the other teams, ahead of what is such a crunch match.
A potential spoiler alert, Clay. There are apparently typhoons near Japan, more of them. Is there any suggestion that this is going to disrupt the semis?
No, not at this stage. There's 2 typhoons in the Western Pacific at the moment. Only one of them, Naguri, is expected to hit Japan, but it's not expected to be anywhere near on the scale as Hagibis was. So we should be fine. It's expected to bring a lot of rainfall. So for those rural areas, the outlying areas in Japan that have already been pretty hard hit by this, the first typhoon, not great news for them, but in terms of the rugby, shouldn't affect the semi-finals too much, if at all.
Thanks, Clay. That's Clay Wilson joining us live from Tokyo.